Yes, I think it's time to start the session. If people are coming in between, we can let them in. Our resource person is here. Welcome. Good evening, Mr. Felix George. I think we will begin with a short prayer. I mean, a silent prayer for a minute. Let us be in silence for a minute. I think this session will be very productive. Let me enter my task of welcoming this gathering. This is a very fine evening that we are having a wonderful session here, and I heartily welcome the resource person who is a very young person and has been many things at a time in this very little time on earth, we can say. He has held the position of project manager, planning and business development, and he has domestic and international experience. Not only that, he has been an academician. He has worked at the Manipal University, Dubai, Amity University, Dubai, and I think this definition for him would suit very well. I heard from one of his cousins or someone that he likes to be known as a person who is an academician by passion and a businessman by profession. Mr. Felix George, hearty welcome to this gathering. I also welcome the principal and IIC cell members, Institution Innovation Cell members into this gathering. And most of all, I welcome the charming little buds of Little Flower College for this session. So I think without tarrying and delaying much, we'll go into the session. Mr. Felix George, let us start the session.
Thank you. That was a very flattering introduction, though. I'll share my screen. Okay. I hope you can see my screen.
Presentation slide? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So first and foremost, why are you actually having this course? Why a topic of entrepreneurship? Why the college have organized something called as a session on startups and the aspects on it. See, in recent times you would have heard or you would have come across a lot of news regarding being an entrepreneur, starting up of there are a lot of startups coming up. You would have heard something called as unicorns, and these things are in fad right now. You can hear all these terms being coming up in the recent years. But is it something new? That's the question. Is entrepreneurship something new? The answer is no. Because entrepreneurship is there from the time men and women, the humans have started inventing something for the betterment of the humanity. Okay. But is it just limited to innovation? Like you invent something? Is it limited to that? Again, the answer is no. Okay. If you see the textbook definition or you take up any dictionary and all, and you see the word entrepreneurship and see what's the meaning of it, it's nothing but entrepreneur is nothing but a person who starts a business. He takes some financial risk and he starts a business, right? But what is then startup? Is it something different from business? Is it something different what is going on in the recent past? The answer is yes. Okay. We will try to understand what is entrepreneurship in this session. We'll try to understand what is a startup, how is it different from business. We'll try to understand how a startup works. We'll try to see what is Indian government doing about startups right now, and what are the technical, legal, and ethical aspects of it. And to inspire you, I'll just talk about few entrepreneurs, some of the social entrepreneurs and some women entrepreneurs, so that you may get some idea about what is happening around in this entrepreneurship world. So to start with, I'll try to make you understand some basics. I'll give you some basic definitions, what are there. So when I go with the session, you understand what it is all about. If you remember, I started this session by saying, why are you listening to this course? So for the answer for that particular question is that nowadays we are living in an economic system, right? You see, you go to a shop, you pay money, you get some product, and that product you use them. Next day you go to the market, you will find some better product, some better innovative product. For example, you buy a phone today. Maybe after 2 years, you will get some new phone with better specs, right? So every day something or the other, new things are coming up. So we are living in an economic system. We are transacting money and buying products. So what kind of economic system we are living in? If you would have heard in your school days and all, there are different type of economic systems. One is capitalistic, one is mixed, one is socialist. Nowadays, most of the countries, they are going towards capitalist economic system. Don't get worried, when I'm saying all these terms, I'll just try to make you understand in a very few lines and in a very easy way. See, capitalism, as the word capital, if you have heard learned in your social science classes and all, you would see capital is nothing but man, that is nothing but labor, money and land. What are these three things? These three things are required by any entity, organization, or the person to make a product. What is a product? For example, take bread. Right? Bread is a product. It's not a raw material. To make a bread, you require certain raw materials. In the kyani, you require maida, which is nothing but refined flour. You require some yeast. You require sugar. You require some fat. Some oil, palm oil, and things like that. All those things are raw materials. Some business person, he made an organization, and in his factory, he is baking breads using all those raw materials. So when he is doing so, he is adding a value to it. He is using the labor, he is using the factory, that is the land, right? And he is using the money he is put in, or maybe he has got from some bank, or someone would have given him as a loan. He uses all these things and make a product that is called bread, and he gives it to the market, and from the market you buy it. So that product, when you buy, you are paying him something called as money, and money has value in it, right? So you buy a product, you pay the money, and that value that you get as a businessman is nothing but the efforts that you put in, and because of that value creation, you get some profits over it. This is the whole thing. In social system, I just want to make you understand what is the difference between this economic system. In social system, this capital, that is land, money, and labor, they were controlled by the government. In today's era, if you see, most of the countries are towards capitalist economic system, where capital is controlled by individual person, private entities, not by government. India was a mixed economy, but from 1991, they have changed. They are starting to change themselves. Nowadays, if you would have heard the news, you can listen. A lot of things are being privatized. A lot of firms were there who are they are getting privatized. Mumbai, like in 80s, 70s and all, you will get only HMT watch. Now you go to the market, you will find a lot of varieties of firms which are selling the watches. Whatever left out firms are there which are owned by the government, even they are privatizing it. Means they are giving it to a private entity to manage it. So we are now in an economic system which is capitalistic in nature. Means the organizations and this capital, that is man, labor and money, they are owned by private entities. Second thing, that is something known as consumerism. Consumerism in general, it's a theory, which states that when people of a nation, they consume goods, the economy will increase, the economy will rise. People are gone on. Indian economy is going down or economy is going up. This going up and down, it is actually based on the number of products, people who are working and making products and which are being sold in the market. So more number of products are being sold, the economy is increasing. Let's be very honest over here. നമ്മളൊക്കെ ഷൂ മേടിക്കുന്നു. ആ ഷൂ ഒക്കെ നമുക്ക് സത്യം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വേണമെങ്കിൽ 2-3 കൊല്ലമൊക്കെ സുഖമായിട്ട് ഓടിച്ചോണ്ട് നടക്കാം. പക്ഷേ what we do, maybe within a year you find a new model, you go buy that, you will discard the old shoe. Now old shoe is actually not old. I mean, you can still wear it, but you still discard them. So if you see the trend right now, people are actually buying a lot of things which are not necessary for them. You buy, I don't know how many pens we buy, I know pencils or anything that is required, I mean not required, you still buy. That is because the market wants you to buy. If you don't buy, if you don't purchase things, there will be no more goods produced, and if the goods are not being produced, the economy will go down. Understood this consumerism?
Yes.
Third thing is economic growth. Now, if you, I have mentioned economic growth over here. Means when you produce goods, not only goods, even services. Goods, suppose you make a cup, that is a good. You make a phone, that is a good. You make anything that you use as a product, that are goods. What is service then? Banking, it's a service. Insurances, they are service. Telephone that you call, your mobile phones and all, that you use to, the service that you use like Vodafone, Idea and things like that, these are services. So more number of services, more number of goods are produced in a nation, then the economic growth will be there. Otherwise, the economy will come down. With these 3 things, I'll try to answer the first question that I asked. That is, why you are learning this. See, as I said, the government is trying to go towards capitalistic economic system. They have found out in recent years that Western countries are being prosperous because they have capitalistic economic system. So they want more people to take up entrepreneurship, more people to take up business. And when more people take up business, there will be more goods produced and there will be more economic growth. Because you see, most of the things that we buy, most of them are made in China. But what happens is that when we buy things from China, we have to pay, rupees. The money is going out to China. So government wants that, no, even we have a lot of people, even we have talent. Let's try to improve the entrepreneurship system over here. Let the new young generation take up entrepreneurship. Let them start businesses, let them start making goods, and by that our country will grow. Understood? And that's the exact reason why government, IPO, they are trying to make sure that these entrepreneurship sessions are being taught to young generation. Especially in universities, you can find entrepreneurial courses. And there are a lot of other, even in school, there is recently, there was an initiative launched by government. Something called as Atal scheme and all, where even the school students were encouraged to take up entrepreneurship. Okay. So we talked about this, why you want to do this course, why this is important. See, in some point of time, you would have done some sort of business. Maybe, I don't know, everyone will be doing it, but I think few of you might have, started up at least a baking business in your house. That you make cakes, you make pastries, and you sell it. Someone would have done it for sure. That's there. Or some craft items, make some jewelries and try to sell them online. People have started doing all these things. But all these things, suppose baking a cake and selling it, that is a business, but not a startup. Okay, but not a startup. What is the difference then? See, startup is where you have an idea. What is an idea? Idea is nothing but a thought, an opinion. Number, like, suppose you say that you want to go to, say, Uti. Now you want to go to Uti. That's not an idea. That's a thought, that a normal thought saying that, okay, you want to go there. But if you get an idea on how to go to that place, maybe by, you want to get some money to go to that place. So you try to earn some money or ask your parents or do something. So doing that process or how to get that thing, that is actually an idea. Similarly, a business idea is nothing but a concept which is used to get some financial gain. Suppose someone thinks that, okay, if I bake some cakes and give it, there is a demand, people are asking for it, people are liking my cakes, then they're giving me money. So, business idea, how is it different for a startup and a normal business? For a normal business, a business idea is something that is being done by everyone. Like baking a cake, maybe maybe, like in a 1 kilometer radius, you can find multiple people doing this. It's nothing new. If you try to do something new and innovative means maybe, you maybe start an application, and through that application people can order the cakes, which is not done by the other competitors around you, then that can be a startup. Why? Because it is new, it is innovative. Innovative means you are doing something different from other people. So to understand that, or coming on to the basics, what is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is someone who actually has an idea, and in order to achieve that idea, he will try to create some entity or an organization, like a business. With that business organization, he will try to gain money from it, gain income, money. He is an entrepreneur. Okay, so what is the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur? As I said, businessman is an individual who operates or starts a business with the same old business idea. But an entrepreneur, he tries to initiate or establish a new venture. Now, for example, I'll give you. You go to, some streets in market. You will see that suppose there is a dress shop. That whole street will find dress shops only. Maybe you go to some tire Vikkanakada. There will be some 10-15 shops doing the same business. Those people are businessmen. But entrepreneur, his idea is new. His idea is exclusive, means in your identity, that is new idea, and with that idea is what? Idea is to do what is being done in an innovative way. That's the first thing. Or maybe get something new to the market, which will make people's life easier, or solve a problem. For example, I'll just give an example in this. What is the problem right now? There is a problem for global warming. And people know that the cars, bikes, and all the pollution that is coming out of it, that's a problem. So some entrepreneurs and academicians, scientists and all, they thought together of creating some new technology by which we can avoid consumption of petrol. So if you don't burn petrol, what will happen? The atmosphere won't get polluted. So what they did, they came up with electric cars or electric bikes, electric scooters. That's what you see right now. There are a lot of electric car manufacturers, bike manufacturers and all. So those people are entrepreneurs. Ola bikes, you heard about it? Ather bikes, Tesla cars. These people are entrepreneurs because they are trying to come up with an exclusive idea, a new idea, and they are trying to change what is there in the market. Rishabh, An entrepreneur, when he's trying to do this, the risk factor is also high because he's trying to create a new market. Now, what if people say that, okay, it doesn't matter much, the pollution caused by these cars and bikes is very less. Okay, in that case, what will happen? The business will, no one will adopt it, and the business will go down. So that's what happens. So that is the difference between a normal businessman and entrepreneur. So you would be hearing this entrepreneur term. This is what it is. A entrepreneur is an individual who is having an exclusive idea, and he tries to establish a new venture, a business, and try to offer the market something new, something unconventional, which will make the life of people easier. He's an entrepreneur. Okay, so tomorrow someone opens up a grocery shop. He's not an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He's trying to create a business. Okay, now, second question that I asked is that entrepreneurship, is it something new? I would say the answer is no. In your social science books, you would have heard or you would have read something called as Industrial Revolution. 1700s, some Industrial Revolution. Suddenly people, one after the another, they tried innovating. Steam engine. Okay, they tried to innovate electricity. And the pala innovations from that era, people try to innovate things and try to sell that into the market. Best example, you ever heard Thomas Alva Edison? What did he do? He invented bulbs, electric bulbs. You would have heard stories and myths around it that he tried 10,000 times, and the last attempt he tried to, switch on the bulb. So what he did was, he invented bulb. But invention of a bulb is making him a innovator. Innovator. But actually Thomas Alva Edison is a very big businessman also. He established a company and he tried to sell bulbs to the market, and he is a very rich businessman. When he died, he was a very rich businessman. And our company, it's still running. It's a very big company. Our company is General Electric, GE. Ketundo. Pala salthum, pala villa electrical equipments are conducted in the GE company, General Electric. So, entrepreneur and society, what is the relation? The relation is this: entrepreneurs are the reason why we have new things in market and the economy is growing. What they try to do is that they create something new from a problem. If humans are having a problem, they try to find a solution for it and they try to make a business out of it. That is the relation between entrepreneur and society. So society is growing in terms of intellectual, in terms of finance and economy. Why it is happening? Because entrepreneurs are trying to disrupt the old technologies. They're trying to get new technologies, and then they are changing the whole economy. They're changing the whole society that we see. Car and phones and internet and phones and all. 1990 cell phone 1980s 19 cell phone cell phone started. Cell phones and all അതൊക്കെ popularized 90s and all. Motorola എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു company ഉണ്ടായി. Even it's there right now. You would have heard the name Motorola. അവരൊക്കെയാണ് ഈ സാധനം ഇന്നോവേറ്റ് ചെയ്തത്, and they tried to make a business out of it. Even internet, no one thought that internet will be the big thing in 2020 and all. But right now we can't live with internet. This internet is nothing but an innovation, and businesses, they try to market it. What they did, they tried to scale it up Very society society is using right now, and we, with the help of that, the society is getting improved. So if you see, there are four types of social entrepreneurs. I mean, four types of entrepreneurs. I've not mentioned it over here though. One is an entrepreneur who makes small businesses. One is an entrepreneur who makes innovations. One is an entrepreneur who scales up. Okay, and one is an entrepreneur who's called as a social entrepreneur. Let's forget about the rest three right now. I want to talk something on social entrepreneurship. What is the difference between a normal entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur? എന്തായിരിക്കും difference? See, entrepreneur, when he creates something, yes, he is doing good for the society, but he is thinking of money also. He is trying to make money out of it and become rich. Elon Musk let's take Facebook. Facebook accounts ഉണ്ട്. ഈ ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ആള് സോഷ്യൽ സർവീസ് അല്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്. He is actually using your data and trying to create money out of it. How? With your data, he is trying to sell advertisements. You see a lot of advertisements, അല്ലേ? നമ്മൾ എന്ത് സാധനം ഓൺലൈൻ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് ഇൻസ്റ്റാഗ്രാമിൽ അതിൻ്റെ ആഡ് കാണാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഗൂഗിളിലെ ആഡ് കാണാം, ഫേസ്ബുക്കിലെ ആഡ് കാണാം. What are they trying to do? They are trying to use your data and make money out of it. അവരാണ് entrepreneurs. The social entrepreneurs are the people who try to make the world a better place. അവർ മിക്കതും ഈ നോൺ പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻസ് ആയിരിക്കും. They are not looking for money actually, but they are trying to make a change in the world. Someone will ask, if they are not making money, how will they survive? The answer is yes, the money is required to sustain, but their ultimate goal is not to make money. Ultimate goal is to make certain change. One good example I'll give, I'm actually very inspired by this person also. Her name is Urvashi Sahani. CEO ആണ് SHEF ന്റെ Study Hall Education Foundation. So actually this organization is working on educating disadvantaged, means girls who are not able to study. They are teaching them. They're making their lives better, right? So these kind of people, there are many other social entrepreneurs in India, many famous ones, who are helping the tribal people, who are helping the like orphaned kids and all, who are trying to help the environmental change against they're working, who are working on social fabric of social in society and all. These people are called social entrepreneurs. So understand the difference between an entrepreneur and a social entrepreneur. Okay, these two things are related, but one is focusing only on making money, and the second one is focusing on making the world a better place. Okay, so coming on to one basic question, is starting the business right for you? The answer is yes. But here I'll say something. Everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that saying it in a bad light, and a negative item I'm പറയുന്നത്. Everyone cannot be an entrepreneur. See, we require both entrepreneurs, we require people who work also. Every person cannot be an employee, every person cannot be an entrepreneur. Okay, these two require certain traits, and these traits you can also, like if I'm an employee, I'm a normal person, I want to be an entrepreneur, I can develop these traits. Certain requirements അതൊക്കെ എനിക്ക് മീറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. Maybe suppose I'm an introvert person എന്ന് വിചാരിക്കാം. എനിക്ക് ആൾക്കാരെയൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കാൻ വളരെ മടിയുള്ള കൂട്ടത്തിലാണ്, എനിക്കധികം സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റാറില്ല. അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ആളാണെങ്കിൽ can he do business? Answer is no. കാരണം ബിസിനസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ചെയ്യണം. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ കേക്കൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയാണ് ആൾക്കാരോട്, so we have to go to people and say that, ചേച്ചി ഞാൻ കേക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കണം കേട്ടോ വീട്ടിൽ. So you have to talk to them, right? You have to be a little extrovert. Okay, so you have to be an extrovert for that. So there are certain traits. You can improve it. If you're an introvert and still want to be an entrepreneur, you can improve on that skill. But the table that you see over here, this is actually an article from an article in HBR, Harvard Business Review. There are certain common entrepreneurial traits that they have actually mentioned over here. If you see, I'll just mention few of them. Creativity വേണം, vision വേണം, passion വേണം. Creative means to think and see that what new can be done. ആ ന്യൂ സാധനങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഞാൻ ചിന്തിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞു. ബട്ട് ടു ഡു ദാറ്റ് യു റിക്വയർ സം പാഷൻ. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഹി ഷുഡ് ഹാവ് ലീഡർഷിപ്പ് സ്കിൽ. ഗോൾ ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആയിരിക്കണം. യു ഷുഡ് ഹാവ് എ ഗോൾ. യു കനോട്ട് സേ നമുക്ക് ഈ പരിപാടി നമുക്ക് നാളെ ചെയ്യാം. അല്ല, ഇന്ന് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ, ടുഡേ ഡൂവേഴ്സ്, those are the people who can actually do something. I mean, be an entrepreneur. Experimental mindset ആയിരിക്കണം. They should be able to listen to people and take their advice. You cannot say that, okay, whatever I'm doing is only right. They should understand money. Now, when I say money, it doesn't mean finance. MBA, you don't have to go to all accountancy and all those kind of things. They should know basic finance. They should be comfortable with the financial aspects of your business. So these kind of skills is something that I would recommend you can improve to be a, or to do business or to be an entrepreneur. See, there are I'll give you some advice. People who are interested, just go to an online, internet and all, and try to find out entrepreneurial quiz. Means a BBC quiz center. If you try to do that quiz, it will give you certain, it will give you an answer that whether you are capable of doing it or not. Okay, so you can try it out. Now I'll come to the second part of this lecture, that is regarding the startup journey. Now we understood what's an entrepreneur, we understood what kind of economic system we are living in. What is the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman? We understood what is the traits required or what are the skills required for a businessman. Now let's jump into the second aspect of this whole lecture, that is startup journey. As I said, what is a startup? Startup means you are starting something up which is new, innovative, and will make a change in the society, and you can even make money out of it. Okay, let's see the startup journey. The first step in a startup journey is that you have an idea. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ ഐഡിയ ഉണ്ടാവുക? The first thing is you have to find an opportunity. എന്താണ് ഈ opportunity? See, suppose I'll give an example of a situation. You are standing in a bus stop, or you are standing in a taxi stop or an auto stand. You are waiting for an auto. You are not getting an auto. You have to go to the auto stand to get an auto. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ഇവിടുന്ന് വീട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് ഇറങ്ങി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എനിക്ക് ഓട്ടോ സ്റ്റാൻഡിൽ പോയിട്ട് എനിക്ക് ഓട്ടോ പിടിച്ചിട്ട് പോകണം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ I have to call that person and he will come if he is free or not, I don't know. So someone identified this problem. Someone, who is that someone? I'll tell you, that is Uber. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഓല ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായി, ഓല ഉണ്ടോ. What they found out that there is a problem. People are facing this problem. Okay, so what they thought, okay, let me make an app. I'll add up all this. എല്ലാ ഓട്ടോക്കാരും ചേട്ടന്മാരൊക്കെ ഞാൻ ഇതിൽ ആഡ് ചെയ്യും. So if I make a request, they will also get a request for the journey, and whoever is free, they'll accept it and they'll come here and pick me up. See, what Uber did? They tried to solve the problem. What is the problem? That people were having all this difficulties on finding a ride, means to get an auto, to get a taxi and things like that. Uber tried to solve it. So you have to understand this, that if there is a problem in a society, how we can solve it. Okay, അതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രമായോ? If we try to solve it, is it enough to be an entrepreneur, or is it enough to be a startup? Startup? Answer is no. Because there are few other things that you have to understand about that opportunity. The first main thing is, when you're trying to solve that problem, will people pay you for it? If you're trying to solve that problem, are people going to pay you extra money for it, or some money for you? Analyze the business all. So you have to understand. You have to understand the opportunity, find a solution, and understand if there is a opportunity to make money out of it. എന്തായിരിക്കും കസ്റ്റമേഴ്സിന് ബെനിഫിറ്റ്? ആരൊക്കെയുണ്ട് ഇതിൽ കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റേഴ്സ്? Who will be using my service? അതാണ് potential customers. What is the size of the market? Means എത്ര ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഈ പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്? നാളെ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സർവീസ് തുടങ്ങി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എത്ര ആൾക്കാർ ഇത് യൂസ് ചെയ്യും? So these are the few things that you have to ask yourself when you have an idea. Okay, so tomorrow you get an idea, you see a problem in the society, you get an idea, what you have to do? Ask yourself these set of 7 questions and see if you get a positive answer. What is a positive answer? That yes, it creates a significant value. Yes, it can make profit, you can make money out of it. And പിന്നെ ഇതെനിക്ക് കുറെ നാൾ കൊണ്ടു നടക്കാം. ഇപ്പോൾ കൊറോണ വന്നു, so you started up a mask business. Now this mask business, it cannot be durable, അല്ലേ? ഇത് കുറെ നാൾ കൊണ്ടു നടക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. കൊറോണ കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എല്ലാവരും മാസ്ക് ഊരി വയ്ക്കും. പിന്നെ മാസ്കിന് അത്ര ഡിമാൻഡ് ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. സോ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് ഡ്യൂറബിൾ അല്ലായിരിക്കും. It will be there for a certain period of time. So when you ask the 7 questions and if you feel the answer that you get, yes, it is creating some value, it's making some profit and it will be durable, then that opportunity or idea is worth pursuing. You can go for that idea. Okay, so that is something known as shaping of an idea. That is a step 1. So see, you can have n number of ideas, but everything you cannot start a business with, right? Idea കിട്ടുമ്പോൾ you have to actually sit with it, take some time എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ 1-2 മണിക്കൂറല്ല, few days, maybe a few months. Maybe talk to your friends, talk to people who are facing that problem, then see the solution that you are giving to them, are they ready to accept or not. അതാണ് shaping an idea or an opportunity. പക്ഷെ അതുകൊണ്ട് കാര്യമായോ? Is it enough? No. We have to, as I said, ഒരു ഐഡിയ കിട്ടി, ഐഡിയ കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് we figure out that we can solve certain problem. Now we have to create a business out of it. അതല്ല ഇതൊരു a win-win situation ആവുള്ളൂ, that you are solving their problem and you're getting money also. അല്ലേ? So there are different business models. The second thing that I want to discuss is business models. എന്താണ് ഈ ബിസിനസ് മോഡൽ? ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് എക്സാമ്പിൾ തരാം. See, you see an example over here, razor blade model. എന്താണ് ഈ razor blade model? ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മളൊക്കെ ഈ പ്രിന്റർ മേടിക്കാൻ പോകുമ്പോൾ പ്രിന്ററിന്റെ കോസ്റ്റ് ഒക്കെ വളരെ കുറവാണ്. some 4K, 5K, 4,000, 5,000 you get a printer. Actually അത്രയും കാശിനൊന്നും കിട്ടില്ല, കാരണം because it's the money required to make a printer is huge. പക്ഷെ ഇവരെന്ത് ചെയ്യും, കമ്പനിക്കാർ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, they make you buy a printer. Then ഈ ink കഴിഞ്ഞു പോകുമ്പോൾ when you go to buy an ink, that ink will be very costly. Okay. Similarly, ഈ razor blade പറയാൻ കാരണം ജില്ലറ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ബ്രാൻഡ് ഉണ്ട്, ജില്ലറ്റ് ആൻഡ് razor ഇതാണ്. അവർ ഈ റേസറിന് മൊത്തം സാധനം വെക്കുമ്പോൾ ലൈക്ക് വിത്ത് ഹാൻഡിൽ ആൻഡ് ഓൾ ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി വെരി ചീപ്പ്. പക്ഷെ ബ്ലേഡ് മേടിക്കാൻ പോകുമ്പോൾ ബ്ലേഡ് ഭയങ്കര വിലയായിരിക്കും. Second business model that you would be familiar with, that is on a subscription based. Netflix, they are helping you to see movies on your phone. So what they want a subscription fee. Similarly, freemium model. എന്താണ് freemium model? Facebook, they are using a lot of services with them free ആയിട്ട് തരാണ്, but to use certain pro services, like if businesses want to use, they charge me some money. Brokerage means the same thing as broker. There is ഒരാൾക്ക് വീട് മേടിക്കണം, ഒരാൾക്ക് വീട് സെല് ചെയ്യണം, പക്ഷേ ഈ രണ്ട് പാർട്ടിനെ മീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആളാണ് ബ്രോക്കർ. So he gets something called as brokerage. ഇതുപോലെ startups are doing that. So you go to sites like homebricks.com and all. അവിടേക്ക് പോയി കഴിയുമ്പോൾ you can see they are actually doing the work of brokers. So there are different business models and you have to see ഏത് business model നമുക്ക് suit ആവും. Which business model is best for me? Okay. അപ്പോൾ you go through this. I'm not going in each and every detail of it. So when you go through this, you will realize that your idea, it might be following or it might be falling into some of these basic business models that are put over here. Now the question is it only limited to this much? The answer is no. It is not limited to this much. You can have a new business model tomorrow. Okay, you can make a new business model. I gave you a guideline that these are the basic type of business models which are there, and you can, or you have you can see if these things are matching your business uh, or the way you want to sell your product or not. Okay, so these are business models. Third thing, this is something I suggest everyone who has an idea and who wants to do something. That is known as a business model canvas. ക്യാൻവസ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പെയിന്റ് വരയ്ക്കുന്ന സാധനമല്ലേ, അതാണ് ക്യാൻവസ് എന്ന് പറയും അല്ലേ. സോ അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഇതൊരു ക്യാൻവസ് ആണ്. ദിസ് ഇസ് സംതിങ് വേർ യു ക്യാൻ ആക്ച്വലി fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks പോലെയാണ്. So when you have an idea and you see that, okay, എനിക്ക് ഇതിൻ്റെ നല്ലൊരു ബിസിനസ് ആക്കാം, അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷൻ വരുമ്പോൾ you open up this canvas and you try to fill in these things. Key partners ആരായിരിക്കും എൻ്റെ ഈ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് നടത്തിയ പാർട്ട്ണർഷിപ്പ് വേണ്ട. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു ഇപ്പം നമുക്ക് ഐ വാണ്ട് ടു സെൽ പ്രിന്റഡ് ടീഷർട്ട്സ്. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ഹൂ വിൽ ബി മൈ പാർട്ട്നേഴ്സ്? ടീഷർട്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കി തരുന്ന ഒരാൾ പാർട്ട്ണറായിരിക്കും, ഇതിൻ്റെ പ്രിന്റ് ചെയ്ത് തരുന്ന ഒരാൾ പാർട്ട്ണറായിരിക്കും, ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്ത് തരുന്ന ആളുകൾ പാർട്ട്ണറായിരിക്കും. റൈറ്റ്? സിമിലർലി ഹൂ വിൽ ബി മൈ കീ റിസോഴ്സസ്, മൈ കീ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ്. ഏതൊക്കെ ചാനലിൽ നമുക്ക് സെല് ചെയ്യാം? ഓൺലൈൻ സെല് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, മേ ബി ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പർ ആഡ് തൊട്ട് സെല് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. കസ്റ്റമർ സെഗ്മെന്റ്സ്, ആരൊക്കെ ആയിരിക്കും എൻ്റെ കസ്റ്റമേഴ്സ്? യങ് kids, maybe 20 to 25 years old, who are college going students, or maybe 30 to 35 years old people. So you have to identify who is going to buy my product. Revenue streams, very important. എവിടെ നിന്നാണ് ഈ സാധനങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഞാൻ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, ഈ റൈഡ് എക്സിക്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എവിടെ നിന്നൊക്കെ എനിക്ക് കാശ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റും? Facebook, as I said, they are making money from a lot of places. They are making money from their data, they are making money by selling the advertisements, they're making money by something called as affiliate selling. They are trying to get revenue from it. So whenever you have an idea, you open up these things and try to fill in the blanks. You have to ask yourself certain questions. So I put it over here. How it will create value, how it can make profit, എങ്ങനെയാണ് we can be different from our competitors, and how will they find out that I have a business? So this is a part where you are trying to figure out, will it work or not? So understand one thing, a startup should always be viewed as a business, or as an experiment. They're experimenting it, will it work or not? When you establish it, then it becomes a business. So by that, coming on to the third part. So you have an idea വെച്ച് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? ഐഡിയ വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ figure out if it's going to work in the market or not, and then you made a business canvas, right? Then after that you have to make a business plan. Endani business plan? See, business plan is nothing but it's certain set of things which will be written in a, you have to make a certain book, book. So it will be having all the details regarding your business, that what is your goal, how will you attain it, എത്ര സമയത്തിനുള്ളിൽ ചെയ്യും, എങ്ങനെ നമ്മളതിനെ മാർക്കറ്റ് ചെയ്യും, എന്തായിരിക്കും എൻ്റെ സെയിൽസ് പാറ്റേൺ, ആരൊക്കെയായിരിക്കും എൻ്റെ സാധനങ്ങൾ മേടിക്കുക. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ആക്ച്വലി എ ബിസിനസ് പ്ലാൻ. ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ കണ്ടന്റ്സ് ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് റിട്ടൺ ഓവർ ദെയർ. കണ്ടോ കണ്ടന്റ്സിൽ ഒരു സമ്മറി, ആൻഡ് യു ആർ ടോക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് ദ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി, യു ആർ ടോക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് യുവർ ടീം, യു ആർ ടോക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് എ മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് പ്ലാൻ, ആൻ ഓപ്പറേറ്റിംഗ് പ്ലാൻ. എങ്ങനെ ഒരു മാർക്കറ്റ് ചെയ്യും, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഞാൻ ഈ ഒരു ബിസിനസ്സിനെ കൊണ്ടു നടക്കുക, എന്തായിരിക്കും എൻ്റെ ഫൈനാൻഷ്യൽ പ്ലാൻ, എങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കും, how I'll get money, how I'm going to spend it the next 1 year. ഈ സാധനങ്ങളൊക്കെ we have to put it in a sheet of paper. You know why? The reason being, because you have to tell other people. Who are these other people? Other people can be your friends, where you can ask money. That, see, this is a very good business plan, and with this business plan even you can make money out of it. So you give me some money, ഞാൻ ഈ കാശ് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഞാൻ ബിസിനസ് തുടങ്ങാം, when I get profits I'll give it back to you. You can give it to banks, because ബാങ്കിനടുത്ത് the loan മേടിക്കാൻ പോകണം, so they have to understand it. You can give it to other investors, they have to understand it. Okay, so this business plan is very important. That's how you can give it to people. ആൾക്കാരെ കാണിച്ചിട്ട് they can understand this thing much better. So to make it more understandable, make sure it is more persuasive. Persuasive means you have to persuade them, you have to compel them, you have to tell them that there is an opportunity, and if you put money, you can make money out of it. Okay, so it should be very simple, but you have to put in all those things which are required for your business in this business plan. The other thing is, don't try to put in other things which are not you're not going to achieve. Okay, so വളരെ carefully think ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള സംഭവമാണ് business plan. Now, so you have a business plan right now. Now what? Now you see that okay, business plan is there. ഞാൻ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് കാണിച്ചു കൊടുത്തു, ഇൻവെസ്റ്റേഴ്സിനെ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുത്തു, and they were pretty happy with it, and they're ready to put in money. Okay, so you made an idea. From an idea, you try to test it out by making a business canvas. അതിന് ഒരു business plan ഉണ്ടാക്കി ആൾക്കാരെ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുത്തു, and ആൾക്കാർ they are like people, they are like very much satisfied with your new business, new solution, and they feel that okay, it is positive and it will work. ഈ സമയത്ത് എന്താ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? You have to register your business. Register your business എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ business registration is a process where you are making that business as an entity. ഒരു entity ആയിട്ട് മാറ്റാണ്. എന്താണ് entity? Means you are giving it certain legal rights, certain legal responsibilities. KFC ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ ആള് മരിച്ചു പോയിട്ട് കുറെ നാളായി. That he as an entity, he as a person, he is no more. പക്ഷെ ആളുണ്ടാക്കിയ business, that entity is still alive. Understood? So in order to അതിലൊരു ജീവൻ കൊടുക്കാൻ, you have to register that particular business. Okay, so when you register business, what does it mean? See, the government have given certain regulations. ആ regulation പ്രകാരം നമുക്ക് ഇതിനെ ഈ MCA പറഞ്ഞ വെബ്സൈറ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, മിനിസ്ട്രി ഓഫ് കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് അഫയേഴ്സ്. ആ വെബ്സൈറ്റിൽ പോയി നമുക്ക് ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ അപ്ലോഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഒരു ബിസിനസ് നമുക്ക് രജിസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്യും. ഓക്കെ, there are 5 types of business, 5 types of companies which are there in India. First is called sole proprietorship. Sole proprietor എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ own one person will management. എനിക്ക് നാളെ ഒരു കമ്പനി തുടങ്ങണം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ I can go for sole proprietorship. Second is OPC, one person company. Here ഞാൻ ആയിരിക്കും as a sole owner, but there is a difference, and that difference we'll see in the next slide. Okay, third is partnership company. Partnership means you along with 2-3 friends, നിങ്ങൾ 3-4 പേര് decide ചെയ്തു that you want to start a business. You can come together and start this business, that is known as a partnership company. Fourth is a limited liability company. ചെറിയൊരു I make you understand what is limited liability means. ഞാൻ നാളെ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് തുടങ്ങി, എനിക്ക് ആ ബിസിനസ്സിന് വേണ്ടി കാശ് വേണം. ഈ കാശിന് വേണ്ടി ഞാൻ ലോൺ എടുക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ബാങ്കിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പോയി. ബാങ്ക് ഗേവ് മീ ലോൺ. എനിക്ക് ഈ ലോൺ ഇനി അടയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റിയില്ലെങ്കിൽ the bank will come to me asking for money, even if my business is not working. Business is a flop, business went down, but the bank is coming and asking me the money. ഇങ്ങനെ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ശരിയാവും? Like, will that work? Will people take that much risk? The answer is no. So what this limited liability company does is, ഈ ലോൺ എടുക്കുന്നത് കമ്പനീൻ്റെ പേരിലായിരിക്കും. So if the company is not able to pay back the loan, ആ കമ്പനി പൂട്ടി പോകും, കമ്പനീൻ്റെ അസറ്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഈ ബാങ്ക് എടുക്കും. ബട്ട് ഈ നടത്തിയ ആൾക്ക് ആസ് എ ഡയറക്ടർ he won't be having any problem. അതിനാണ് ഈ ലിമിറ്റഡ് ലയബിലിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. പിന്നെ the fifth type of company is private limited company. Generally in a private limited company, more than two people will be there. Up to 200 people can be there. 200 people, they put in their money, they raise their funds, and with those funds, they make a company, and with that money they can create the business. Adinana private limited company. Okay, I'm not going to complicate this much. You can go through what this 5 type of companies are. Okay, but here I'll talk about 2 main type of companies that you can register. Why I'm talking about this 2? Because you can do this. For Nala, you have to start a beauty parlor, then you have to register. You can either register it as a sole proprietorship, or you can register it as a OPC. Nala, if you want to start a bakery, you can have to register either into one of this. You want to start something else, you can do by registering any of this. So എന്താണ് ഈ sole proprietorship advantage? I'll talk about it. Here, actually, sole proprietorship, it doesn't have any governing law as such. Means it's very easy. നമുക്ക് നാളെ CA അടുത്ത്, CA എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ചാർട്ടേഡ് അക്കൗണ്ട് എടുത്ത് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ tell them that okay boss, I need to start a company. So he will give you all the details. He will just ask you few paperworks, not complicated paperworks. അതൊക്കെ വെച്ച് he'll register a company for you. See, the only documents that is required is Aadhaar card, PAN card, and a bank account with a registered office. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എവിടെയാണ് ഈ ഓഫീസ് തുടങ്ങുന്നത് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു അഡ്രസ്സ് വെച്ചിട്ട്. OPC എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ it is little more complicated, but not as complicated as private limited company. Lesser compliance, limited liability, as I said before, then legal recognition കിട്ടും. What are the documents required? These are the documents required. Don't go through them right now. Go through after the lecture, maybe, if you are interested. Right? Go through them. Maybe tomorrow, if you want to start a company, then you can go through these documents. Go to a CA. Tell them that, boss, I want to start a firm. These are the documents I have. Please register a business for me. So a business person, they should have a clear idea of how to start. What are the type of organization. Now coming on to the next part, that is startup funding. ഈ ബിസിനസ് ഒക്കെ തുടങ്ങുന്നതിന് കാശ് വേണ്ടേ? ഈ കാശ് നമുക്ക് എവിടെ നിന്ന് കിട്ടും? സി ഇൻ എ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് ദർ ആർ ഡിഫറെന്റ് സ്റ്റേജസ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേജിനെയാണ് പ്രോട്ടോടൈപ്പ് സ്റ്റേജ് എന്ന് പറയാം, ഐഡിയ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേജ് എന്ന് പറയാം. ഈ ഐഡിയ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേജിൽ ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ടു സിംപ്ലിഫൈ ദ ഹോൾ തിങ്. ഓക്കെ, ഐ എം നോട്ട് ഗോയിങ് ടു കോംപ്ലിക്കേറ്റ് ദിസ് മച്ച്. ഫസ്റ്റ് ഐഡിയ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേജിൽ you want to make sure that this particular business is working. Suppose t-shirt business, as we talked before, t-shirt business, our idea work cheyo illiyo ennallathu namukku we have to figure it out. Here is stage what you do, you cannot rely on other people. Maybe you can rely on your friends, maybe your parents, maybe some uncle and auntie, but not other people, because they don't have a trust. You have to do something, you have to show them that you can do it, then only people will trust you. So ഈ ഓൺ റിസോഴ്സ് വെച്ചിട്ടായിരിക്കും സ്റ്റാർട്ടിങ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. അതിനാണ് ബൂട്ട് സ്ട്രാപ്പിംഗ് എന്നും പറയും. ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റാണ്. പേഴ്സണൽ സേവിങ്സ് വെച്ചിട്ടായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ ഒരു ഓൺ റിസോഴ്സ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇതൊക്കെ ഗ്രോ ആയി വരുമ്പോൾ there are other people who comes into this investing, because to grow you require money. Okay, the first stage you are just showing people that I can do the business. See, this is the output, you can make money out of it. Next stage വരുമ്പോൾ you go to something called as angel investors. Angel എന്ന് പറയാൻ കാരണം അവർ മാലാഖമാര് പോലെ വന്ന് they are actually helping you out. That's the reason you call them as angel investors. These are the people who can be big business people, some institutions, maybe college is also they can be an angel investors. They put in the money for this business idea. In the third stage, when you want to scale it much further, you go for some seed capital means money to the seed so that it can grow as a plant. This is given by banks or other financial institutions. You can go to them and ask. Where you require huge sum of money, where you have to do a lot of marketing. When Byju's app, you have heard about that thing, right? It started as a very small firm. These stages കഴിഞ്ഞ് വന്നപ്പോൾ now they wanted to grow. So what this Byju Ravindran guy did, he went to the venture capitalist, VCs എന്ന് പറയാം, venture capitalist, like SoftBank. Even Facebook is a venture capitalist for Byju's. അവരെൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പോയിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു, see, ഇതാണ് എൻ്റെ business model and my business is working, I'm making profit out of it. These people got convinced, Facebook got convinced, SoftBank got convinced, and they agreed to put in a lot of money so that they can do a huge marketing. That's the reason we saw, in few years, they did a lot of marketing, they put a lot of money, and with that they were able to grow. So these 4 stages you understand, this is a little complicated. One by one, if you sit only, you'll understand. So first is you put in own resource, then you get an angel investor, then you get a seed capital, then you get venture capitalist. Venture capitalist stage okay, later stage when you grow big. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about over here is scaling up. So, a company indaki form to startup into next is what? Next is to scale up. I started a business in Cochin. Maybe tomorrow I want to start a business. Calicut, Trivandrum, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi. I want to cover the whole all these areas. So what I am doing is scaling up. So you should have a sustainable strategy, means you should put in processes. So നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിൽ ഡിസൈൻ ചെയ്ത പ്രോസസ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ how to run a business and things, it will all keep changing. Why it has to change? എന്തുകൊണ്ടത് ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യണം? Because if you don't change, you cannot scale up. Okay. So I'm just putting in a very simple term. So scaling up is a very important factor. Scale up ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയില്ലെങ്കിൽ then the whole thing will collapse. Okay. So scaling up is something important and something to be kept in mind. I come to the third part of this whole lecture, that is India and startup. And third question ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായില്ലേ, like why the government is now back of it? The reason is, as I said, capitalist economy we want to make more production. That's the reason we are coming into an ecosystem where there should be a lot of startups. So Indian government, they have come up with a lot of schemes to help you, help me. Anyone who wants to start a business, government is ready to help you. So India is actually making a robust system, startup system, so that you can make a business, I can do a business, everyone can do a business. The Startup India campaign, this hashtag Startup India, you can actually find out in in news and all, it's there. Startup India is actually the government is trying to create an ecosystem. അതിൽ ഒരാൾക്കാർക്ക് ടാക്സ് ബെനിഫിറ്റ്സ് കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, special funds കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. There are some 10,000 crores money that the government is spending for startups. They are helping them by giving loans. Startup India hub എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ സാധനം വരുന്നുണ്ട്. പല ഈവൻ ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്തിൽ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, കൊച്ചിയിൽ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, you find Kerala startup hubs. Now different states have different hubs also. The hubs, what they do, you go to them and say that I have an idea, I have tried this is done, and the result I am able to make money. They will help you out. The startup hubs will help you out to do business. They will show you what path to take. They'll help you meet new people. They'll help your business grow. What mentors ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവും, mentors ഒക്കെയാണ് നിങ്ങളെ help ചെയ്യുക to grow and all. Even they will help you in innovation research. Suppose you see that, okay, I tried to do some research, innovation chedu, and I want to get some funds for it. So the startup hubs and all, they will fund you also. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഇത് കൂടാണ്ട് Indian government has started with a lot of other things, something called a self-certification. ഇപ്പോൾ if you start a business, പണ്ടൊക്കെ എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, you start a business, നമ്മളൊരു ബിസിനസ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് there will be a lot of government institutions coming up and checking up. ഓർമ്മയുണ്ട്, ഒരു സിനിമ ഉണ്ടായില്ലേ, ഒരു മോഹൻലാൽ wants to start a biscuit factory, ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റിൻ്റെ ആൾ വന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്തു, കുറേ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കി. അതുപോലെ വേറെ ആൾക്കാർ വന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്തു, കുറേ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കി. അതൊന്നും ഇപ്പോൾ നടക്കില്ല. ലൈക്ക് ഗവൺമെന്റ് ഹാസ് സെഡ് for 3 years a startup is free to do whatever they want. They only have to do self-certification. 3 വർഷം വരെ ആരും ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വരില്ല, ഒന്നും വരില്ല. So even if you tomorrow wants to start a business, you can start a business without any trouble, without someone bothering you. These are the schemes that I have listed over here. There are some 33 schemes I have listed. Really, a 4-5 scheme number which will be helpful for you. Maybe. First is Atmanirbhar Bharat App Innovation Challenge. Bharat App applications in Dhaka. So if you are coming up with pudhiyoru application, maybe something which is different from Facebook in Dhaka, you can come with an idea. You can do some prototyping, show it to the startup hub. They'll help you to make applications. They are giving seed funds, Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. 1,000 crores in the government is giving money to whoever eligible startup is there, they can give them money. PMMY, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Small entities, small businesses, avarku help cheyyandi. Ee Mudra banks, they will be giving them money. CGTS, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust. അതുപോലത്തെ പല സ്കീമുകളും you can see. The most important one I want to mention is Startup India scheme. Stand Up India scheme, sorry. Stand Up India. Stand Up India means those people who are not standing up now, the government is asking them to stand up. Who are they? Women entrepreneurs. People from the backward community. Government is asking them to stand up and start doing business. So there are many other schemes and many other benefits which the government is giving them. Okay, so where can you find this information? Vikaspedia.com or somewhere. Vikaspedia.in, sorry, not .com. അവിടെ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ You can get all these details. Tomorrow, if you want to start a business, you need to study this, research something about it so that you know where the government is helping you. Fourth, the last chapter I would say, that is regarding the legalities of startup. See, some legal points you should know. India, when you are qualified as a startup, when are you called a startup? See, every business is not a startup. So government has put certain guidelines. First guideline, that is a registered firm. That is a partnership, LLP, private limited. Second, they should not be more than 10 years of age. If company startup, if they are making revenue of 100 crores plus, they are not a startup. If that startup is not able to generate wealth, it's not a startup. If that particular business is not able to, or is it formed by splitting up, like Ambani business. So when they divide that business, it doesn't mean that Anil Ambani is having a startup. No, because it's coming from an already established business. Second, your startup should be registered. It should have a structure. Private limited, so proprietorship, all these kind of things should be our structure. Third, the government have asked you to register it. Register is a company registration. Once you register it as an entity, you have to go to DPIIT, the online book. Okay, startupindia.gov, you can actually register your business as a startup. If it is meeting all these criteria, they will accept you as a startup. Fourth, co-founder agreement. Like you and your friend decided to start a business. Decided to start a business. One thing about this business is that during down the line, you'll get a lot of money. And there is, your friends didn't decide. What are the things that you should do, I should do. Don't decide. That's the problem that Facebook had, problem that Apple had. Companies say problems are combined. So have a founders agreement to agree with your peers that this is what you do, this is money, that much profit you will get, this is the profit I will get. That's clear. Licenses, obtaining licenses. Or suppose now a bakery, you should have a FSSAI license must. Health and environmental license. So there are different licenses for different business. So you ask a CA, he will tell you. Have a NDA agreement. NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. For example, I have a business plan. I can't invest. But I have a company registered. This same idea with a business. So that should not happen to you, right? So that's why NDA agreement. So area investors, you show them NDA agreement, get them signed so that they can't copy it. Then protecting your intellectual property. But now business and a logo. Okay, and a pay. You don't want someone else to steal this name. You don't want someone else to take up this logo. So what you can do, you can actually protect this property. Then a registry. No one can take up this thing. Sixth, you have to understand the taxations. Taxes is something that you cannot avoid. Okay, so for that you should have a PAN, PAN, PAN number. PAN number not for as an individual person, but for the company. Company ke PAN type. And you should be able to do your taxations and all. The last thing is that you have to consider certain labor laws. Because now a company you will be having people working for you. And you should know what their rights are. You cannot mistreat them. So there is something called as ESI, there is something called as EPF, Maternity Benefit Acts. These are the acts by the government. These are the important acts and schemes by the government. These are something that every organization must follow. Okay, so these people are not being exploited. Okay, so you have to consider these laws. Eighth is, you have to have certain privacy policy. So, application download Facebook profile, they'll ask you to sign a privacy policy, which you hardly, even you don't read it also, right? But they are safeguarding themselves by giving this privacy policy, terms and conditions. Ninth, it's taking care of the liquidation. Liquidation എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, God forbid, നാളെ ഈ ഒരു business doesn't work out. You have to close it. See, closing out, പണ്ടത്തെ കാലത്തൊക്കെ it was very difficult. You have to go to court and things like that. Now government has made it very easy. There are 3 ways you can shut down your business. First is fast track exit method. Second, going to court the old way. Third is Volter closure. For startups and all, the first thing is what is recommended. Fast track exit. Very low cost runner. You can go to the registrar and tell them you want to close the company. You can tell your CEO also. They will close the company off. Okay, this is very important because if you don't close the company, you'll be having a lot of penalties, blacklisting, and all those kind of things. For this slide, I want to talk about ethics in business because it's a topic in your presentation. എന്താണ് ethics എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ? See, ethics is being morally and socially responsible to whom? To the people who is working with you, to the society that you are living in, and to the environment that you are working in, nature. Even you should be ethical to them also, which means that നമ്മൾ നാളെ ഒരു ബിസിനസ് തുടങ്ങുകയാണെങ്കിൽ you should not create a problem to someone else. You have to ensure that whatever business you are doing, it's not affecting them in a negative way. അതിനാണ് ethics in business പറയുന്നത്. And when you do a business, you have certain social obligation. നാളെ ഞാൻ ഒരു എംപ്ലോയിനെ I'm making that employee work for me, I have to make sure that he is being taken care of. I'm not misusing that person. ഞാൻ അവരോട് വന്നിട്ട് പറയാം, you work for 12 hours, 20 hours, whatever it is, I won't give you money or I'll give you very less money. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ that is actually you're going out of ethics. Okay, so keep ethics in mind. Now here I want to inspire you with few people. Okay, I want to talk about women and startups. See, government, not only government, even society, they want women entrepreneurs. There are many reasons for that. Women entrepreneurs, they are more ethical in nature. That's what studies have found out. They are trying to make this world a better place. So these things are there. So women entrepreneurship is very important. Now, there are 7 people I have listed. These are very famous entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs in India right now. Ampere Electric. You see electric cycles, bikes, okay. Ampere Electric. She is a woman who started that. Everyone, I think most of you girls will be knowing Nykaa. You will be online or ordering them online, e-cosmetic products. Falguni Nayar, she is the person who started it. Biocon India, very pharmaceutical. Kiran Mazumdar, she is the one who started it. Shop Close, you would have shopped something from them. Radhika Agarwal. So these are famous women entrepreneurs. They had an idea. With an idea, they created a business and they changed the way the business is done. They started making money out of it. Okay, so that is regarding women entrepreneurs. Now at the end, I want to talk at what Kerala as a state is doing for entrepreneurship. So Kerala as a state, it is helping the entrepreneurs. Ivide government has started something called as Kerala Startup Mission, KSUM. It's an agency by the government. So e-agency is helping people. They have this number in the startup hub. KSUM has startup hubs. Very pala colleges they have created this accelerators. Accelerators similar like hubs, which will be helping young entrepreneurs. Okay, so this soft loan schemes, aspiring women, they are giving this incentives. Like there's a scheme by KSUM where the women are giving soft loans. I yesterday met a person, Flowers paint company. It was started by a woman. Palakkad on the factory. They're getting into hit right now. They're becoming hit. Okay, so this is something that you can look into. Kerala Startup Mission. It's a nodal agency, and you can actually approach them. If you have an idea, you can approach them directly. They will help you out. This is before ending out. Whatever I said, it's there in this particular sheet. To start a startup, this is the path that you should actually find, go through. This is just nothing but a refresh of what I've told you. Okay, so that's it. A very short lecture though. It requires a lot of time to explain So many concepts and all. A single 1 hour explains ചെയ്യാൻ കുറച്ച് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. Okay, I think I've exceeded my time limit, right, sister?
It's okay. You 11 minutes, only 11 minutes. Anyway, I
Okay.
think I would call upon one of the student audience to propose the vote of thanks. They will have a lot of things to
Oh,
say. It
yeah.
was an
Yeah,
excellent
someone
session.
has questions, they can ask me, or
Does
they
anybody
can
have
close it out.
questions? I think the
I
session
hope,
was very clear. Your
yeah.
slides were very nice. Maybe they don't
Okay,
have
yeah.
questions.
Okay, it's
Um,
okay. Yeah.
I would call one of someone can just propose a vote of thanks.
Sister, can I?
Yes, 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 yes. Please.
So, good evening. The session was very useful and enlightening. And I have had this aspiration of becoming an entrepreneur since I think about 2 years ago. And I had many fantasies about it also. So, I think I'm afraid that where I would have ended up without these guidelines and all. I didn't have any much knowledge about the startups and all. So thank you, sir, for guiding us. And I think this session was very useful for others also. So first of all, I would like to thank you for such a wonderful session. And next, I would like to thank our principal. She is preparing ground for everything like this. She's molding us and she's setting us like birds. She's doing everything for our benefit. And so I would like to thank our principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Jisma Therese, for making this happen. And next, I would like to thank IIC coordinator Alphemis, Little Flower College, Guruvayur, Department of Maths. And then I would like to thank the coordinator of this program, Sister Angela, Department of English. And thank you all for joining here. Thank you.
So it was
Thank
a
you.
wonderful session, sir. I think it was enlightening and informative. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
thank
I
you.
think
Yeah.
we'll wind up now. So, holy night, peace and joy to everybody. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.